Welcome you all. In the last session, I explained you about the concept of for loop with example. So, for loop is mainly used for iterating the statement or executing the statement repeatedly until the condition is satisfied. So, the general form of for loop is for initialization semicolon, condition checking semicolon and increment or decrement and the for loop body. So, first initialization will be performed, later condition will be verified. Once the condition is satisfied, body of the loop will execute. After executing the body of the loop, it will go back to the loop again by executing, by incrementing the value. Then after incrementing or decrementing the value, condition will be evaluated again. So, if condition is satisfied, the loop will be executed. So, this process will be iterate till the condition is satisfied. Okay. In this session, we are going to discuss jump statements. In this session, we are going to discuss jump statement. So, the looping statement, while loop, do while and for loop statements are used to execute the statement repeatedly till the condition is satisfied. Okay, there may be a situation where we need to skip the some statement or we need to terminate from the loop. Okay, sometimes it is required to skip certain statements in the loop, or we need to skip entire loop statement if certain condition is satisfied. Okay, it is not mandatory to execute all the statement. Sometimes it is required to skip the certain statement or we need to terminate from the loop. Okay, for that purpose we use a jump statement. Example, you consider an sequence of elements. Example 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 100. Okay. Now, from this list, we need to check whether the given number is present in the list or not. We need to check whether the given number is present in the list or not. Example, I want to check 40. I want to check 40 in the list. So, first it will verify not matching, then 20 is not matching, 30 is not matching and 40 is matching. So, here 40 is present in the list. Now, 40 is present in the list. Now, once it is fine, once it is checked, then no need to verify the next elements. Now, I want to terminate from the loop or I want to skip from the loop. Okay, that is the one thing. There is one more example. Okay, in this example, consider 11, 21, 45, 30, 46, 74, 81 and 52. Okay, now I have a sequence of numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 number. Now I want to add only the positive number. I want to add only even numbers. So, I want to find the sum of even numbers. If it is odd number, then no need to be considered for the addition. Okay, now you consider the first one. First one is the odd number, no need to perform sum. Next, we need to compare the next element. Next, 21 is also odd number. Next, 45 is also odd number. Then, the number is 30. We need to add this 30. Then, after adding this number, next we need to perform 46, then 74. Then, here we need to skip the addition operation because the number is odd number. So, after skipping next statement, next number is 52. So, next we need to add this number. So, we need to add 30, 46, 74 and 82. Here we skip the remaining statement. But here we are not skipping the entire statement, but we skip certain numbers based on the condition. We skip certain statement based on some condition satisfied. Okay, that is the requirement of jump statement. So jump statements are used to skip or jump out of the loop or skip certain statements in the loop. Okay, in order to perform the jump operation, C supports two statements, that is break and continue. There are two statements, break and continue. So we already know the break statement. So we use a break statement in the switch statement. So in order to skip from the, in order to terminate the switch statement, we use a statement called break. So once we use the break statement inside the switch statement, it will terminate the switch statement. So the control will come out from the switch statement. Then the one more is the continue. So the continue statement is used to skip certain statement and execute the remaining statement. Jumps out of loop. Jumps out of loop. Okay, this transfer the control from loop to outside. Okay, it will terminate the loop, or it transfer the control from inside of the loop to outside. Okay, here the break statement is used to skip the remaining statement. Okay, it skip the remaining statement. Okay, now you consider the break statement in while loop. So statement A, while test expression or test condition, then statements B, if test condition break, statement X. Statement X. Statement Y. Okay. Now in the while loop, first statement A will be executed. After executing the statement A, next it will evaluate test expression. If test expression is true, the control is transferred to inside the loop. The control is transferred to inside the loop by executing the statement B. Next it will verify the test condition. If test condition is true, then it calls the break statement. So once the break statement occurs, then control is transferred to statement Y. So here it will skip the remaining statement. And it transfers the control to the outside of the loop. So outside of the loop is statement Y. Okay, here it will skip from the loop. So the remaining loop will not execute. Can you assume this loop is set for 100 times. So here the condition is evaluated at second iteration itself. So the remaining 98 iterations will be skipped. So remaining 98 iterations will be skipped, means the 98 iterations will not execute. 98 iterations will not work once the break statement occurs. Okay. Similarly in do while, statement A, do statement B, if test condition break while test expression semicolon, then statement X. Okay, here first statement A will be executed. After executing the statement A, now statement B will be executed. After executing the statement B, the test condition will be evaluated. If test condition is satisfied, then the control is transferred to break statement. So here after executing the break statement, the control will be transferred to statement X. So here it will terminate the loop, skip the loop, and it will execute the statement X. Okay, that is in the do while loop. Similarly, in the for loop, statement X, first execute statement A for initialization. So initialization, then condition update within for loop, statement B, if test condition break statement X, close bracket, statement Y. Okay, here first statement A will be executed, then after that initialization will be performed, condition will be checked. So if condition satisfied, it will execute the statement B. After executing the statement B, condition will be verified. So the condition will be verified. So if condition is satisfied, then it move to the break statement. Then here after executing the break, the control will be transferred to statement X. The control is transferred to statement X. So by skipping the remaining iteration, So when we using break statement, so it skip the entire remaining iterations, and the control is come out from the loop. So here you observe carefully. First outer is the loop, inner is the condition. Still the control is transferred from inner loop to outer loop. So if there is a more than one loop, then it is very difficult to use the break statement. So it terminates only from the inner loop to outer loop. So one level termination. So if the loops are deeper loops, then we cannot use the break statement. Okay, let's consider one example program. The program is to find sum of the numbers, sum of positive numbers. So we need to enter n numbers. From n numbers, if it is a positive number, we find sum and average. If it is a negative number, then we need to skip from the program. So program to find sum and average of positive numbers. positive numbers. Okay, if there is a negative number, we need to terminate, we need to skip from the program. So hash include stdio dot h void main. Now here we need to enter the numbers. Okay, now you consider enter the positive numbers. So after entering the positive numbers, you need to find the total. As soon as enter the number, you need to find the sum. So after finding the sum, we need to terminate from the loop. So here before entering the actual values, we need to read how many elements we need to find sum. For how many numbers we need to perform sum. Okay, for that purpose I declare int I is for controlling the loop, n is for getting number of input values, then num is the input element, sum is for finding the total. So sum initially 0, float avg. So in order to store average value, so I'll use one floating point variable. Next, printf enter the number of elements. Enter the number of elements. So scanf %d address of n. Now I want to enter the n number. So I'll set I is equal to 0 while I less than n. So how many times I need to perform? I need to read n numbers. So printf enter the number. Enter the number slash n double close scanf %d double close address of num. So here I read the value for the num. So once I read the value, I need to check whether the number is positive number or negative number. If it is a positive number, we need to find the sum and average. If it is a negative number, we need to terminate from the program. So here I'll check if num less than 0. Num less than 0. If num less than 0, then the number is negative number. So if it is a negative number, break. Then sum is equal to sum plus num. Then I is equal to I plus 1. So I is equal to I plus 1. Next, close the bracket. Okay, this will be iterate. After terminating from the loop, then I need to find average avg is equal to sum divided by float of I because I contains the number of elements. So float I divided by, then printf sum of numbers is equal to %d slash n sum. Then printf average is equal to percentage f slash and then AVG. Okay, this is a program for finding sum of numbers. Okay, sum of positive numbers. Okay, now you consider an example values. Okay, now my n value is 5. N value is 5. So here it will verify the condition. First initial value is I is equal to 0, I less than n. I less than n means I less than 5 means 0 less than 5. Condition is true. Then here I will enter the one value. I will enter the value 4. So here it will verify num less than 0. 4 less than 0? No. Condition is false. If it is false, then it will perform sum is equal to sum plus num. So initially sum value is 0. 0 plus 4? 4. Now sum is equal to 4. Okay. Then I value is incremented by 1. Now it will go back to the loop. Now 1 less than equal to 1 less than 5. Condition is true. Now I will enter one more number 2. I will enter one more number 2. So here it will verify 2 less than 0. 2 less than 0. Once again condition is false. So after evaluating the condition, it will go to the statement sum is equal to sum plus num. So previous sum value is equal to 4 and current value of num is 2. So 4 plus 2 is 6. Now 6 is the sum value. Now I value is incremented by 1. Now I value is 2. 2 less than num. 2 less than 5. Condition is true. So now I will enter the number minus 3. So minus 3 is less than 0. Yes, condition is true. So once this condition is true, now the control is transferred to average. The control is transferred to average. Now average is equal to num divided by float of I. So what is the sum value? Sum value is equal to 6 and I value is 2. So that is 2.0. 6 divided by 2.0 is 3.0. 3.0 is the sum average. Then it will display sum value and the average value. Okay, here the remaining 5 iterations is skipped. Now the remaining 5 iterations skipped because it executed only 2 iterations and the remaining iterations is terminated. The remaining iteration is skipped. Okay, this is the example for the break statement. The next statement is a continue statement. So in the break statement, the entire loop will be skipped. So entire loop will be terminated. If condition is satisfied, when the break statement occurs, it comes out from the loop. So by skipping all the remaining iterations. But sometimes we need to skip only some of the statement and repeat the remaining sequence. So we need to skip certain statement and we need to repeat the same process. So in order to perform that operation, we have one more statement, that is the continue statement. So unlike the break statement, the continue statement skips only some sequence of statement. It will skip some sequence of statement and executes the remaining statement Okay, now you consider the general form of continue statement. Okay, while test expression, then sequence of statements, if test condition, okay, this is a general form. While test expression, then it will execute the statement. Then after evaluating the test condition, it invokes the continue statement. It executes the continue statement. So in the break statement, the control is transferred out from the loop. The control is transferred out of the loop, but in the continue statement, the control is transferred back to while statement. Control is transferred back to the while statement by skipping the remaining statement, by skipping this statement. So, in the break statement, once the break statement occurs, the control is transferred out of the loop. The control is transferred out of the loop by skipping all the statements. But in continue statement, it transfers the control back to the loop by skipping certain statement, So, in the break statement, it terminates all the iterations, or it skips all the iterations, but in break statement, it skips only the current iteration. And remaining iterations will be executed. So, it skips only the current iteration. By skipping some statement, but in the break statement, it skips entire iterations. Okay. Now, this in the while, do Okay. Here in do while statement, it will execute the sequence of statements, then it check the condition. If test condition is true, it invokes the continue statement. So once it execute the continue statement, the control is transferred to while statement. By skipping the remaining statements. So these statements will be skipped. And control is directly transferred to the while statement. So in the continue, it skips only this part of the statement. And it executes the remaining iterations. Okay. In the for loop, if test condition continue statement and the remaining statement. So in the for loop, once the continue statement executes, the control is transferred to for loop. And skips this part of the statement. So it skips this part of the statement. Okay. In break statement, it skips the entire statements in the loop, but in the continue, it skips only some statement and it will execute the remaining iteration. Okay. This is the general form of the syntax of continue statement. So the main difference between the break and continue is in the break statement, it skips the entire iteration. Okay, it skips the entire iteration, but in the continue statement, it will skip only certain statement and the remaining iterations will be executed. Just now I explained the concept of break statement. So break is a jump statement which is used to jump out of the loop. Okay, here is an example program. The program is to find sum and average of the positive numbers. Okay, here I have defined the variable int I, n, num, sum. So I for indexing, n for number of elements, num is equal to, num is getting the input value and sum is finding the total. Then average, avg is for finding the average. Okay, here I am getting the value for n. So how many elements I need to read. Okay, here loop will be iterate from 0 to n. Okay, once this condition is true, I will enter the value. After entering the value, it will check whether the given number is a positive number or negative number. If it is a negative number, it will terminate. If it is a positive number, it performs the sum. Okay, now you can see here. Now I am giving the number of elements is 4. Number of elements is 4. So first I will enter 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, it will find the sum. The sum value is this 18 and average value is 4.5. Okay, I have entered 4 values. 4 values also positive number. Then it will find the sum and average. Now if in case now I want to add 10 numbers. I want to add 10 numbers. So first I will enter 7 and 3, 2 numbers, and I am entering third number is minus 4. Minus 4. So once I enter minus 4, it will terminate from the program because here the condition will be verified. Num less than 0. If condition satisfied, it execute the break statement. When you execute a break statement, it will skip the remaining statement. So it will not execute sum is equal to sum plus num, I is equal to I plus 1, and it will terminate from the loop statement. It will terminate from the loop. Now you can see here, after entering minus 4, you will get the sum value is 10 and average value is 5 because it reads only 2 positive numbers and the average of 2 numbers is 5. Okay, here the break statement skips the remaining statement or terminate the loop statement. Okay, let's consider an example program. Okay, in the break statement we discussed the program. The program is to find the sum of positive numbers. Okay, in the previous program we use a break statement. So once you enter the negative number, it will terminate from the program. It will terminate from the loop. So once you enter the negative number, the loop will be terminate and it will find the average of the entered positive numbers. But in this program, if you enter the negative number, it will repeat, it will ask for entering the positive number. Okay, now you consider here I less than n. So I will enter the numbers. You consider 10 numbers. So first I will read the value for the num. Then here I will check the number. If the number is greater than 999, means if the number is greater than or equal to 1000, it will terminate. So here the number must be less than 1000. So the numbers must be less than 1000. Okay. Now consider total number of elements is 5. First I will enter the number 10. So first it will verify whether the value of num is greater than 900. So my entered number is 10. So the condition is true. So once the condition is true, it will go to execute one more statement, that is num less than 0, whether the number is negative number or positive number. Now this condition is false, then it will increment the I value, then it will perform sum is equal to sum plus num. So initially sum is equal to 0, sum plus num value is 10, so sum plus num. Now it will perform 0 plus num is 10, the result is 10. Now the sum value is equal to 10. Now I value is incremented by 1. Now I value is 1. 1 less than 5 conditions true. Now it will enter one more number. Now my number is minus 5. My number is minus 5. So minus 5, it invokes the break. It check the condition. Here the condition is false, then it will go back to the loop to the next statement, num. Here num less than 0. Yes, minus 5 is less than 0. Condition is true. Once this condition is true, it execute the continue statement. Now the control is transferred to while statement. Now observe here, I plus plus is not performed, then sum is not performed because the control is transferred to the loop. Now still 1 less than 5 conditions true. Now it will enter, it asks for the number. Now I'll enter the number 5. So here 5 less than 5 greater than 999, condition is false. Now 5 less than 0, condition is false. Now I plus plus, now I value is incremented by 1. Now sum is equal to sum plus num. The previous sum value is 10 and the current value is 5. Now 10 plus 5, 15. Now the value is 15. Now it will go back to the loop again. Now I value is 2. 2 less than 5 conditions 2. Now I enter one more number. The number is 1005. 1005. So here it will verify the condition. The condition is num greater than 999. Yes, 1005 is greater than 999. Condition is true. It will call the break statement. So once it calls the break statement, the control is transferred to average. The control is transferred to average. So here average will be calculated. That is AVG is equal to sum divided by float of I. I value is 2. Sum value is 15. 15 divided by 2. 15 divided by 2, that is 7.5. Will be stored to the average variable. Then it will display the sum value. After displaying the sum, it will display average value. So sum of numbers is equal to percentage D sum. Then average of the number is average is equal to percentage F. Then it will display the average value. So this program contains both break and continue statement. So here the break transfer control out of the loop, but continue skip the remaining statement and control is transferred back to the loop. The control is transferred back to the loop. Okay, that is about the continue statement. So these two statements are used to transfer the control from one point to another point, one point to another point. So in the break statement, it jump out from the loop, jumps out of the loop, and continue skips the certain statement, and it will execute the remaining statements. It will execute the remaining statement by skipping certain statement. That is about the continue statement. Just to explain the concept of continue statement. So break statement is used to terminate from the loop, and the continue statement is skip the current iteration and it will execute the remaining iteration. Okay, here an example program. The example program consists of both break statement and the continue statement. So in the previous program, in the previous break statement program, as soon as enter the negative number, it will terminate from the loop, But if you use continue statement, it will skip the current iteration and executes the remaining iteration. So here the example program. In this example, I am given 4 numbers. 4 numbers I want to read. So 5, 55, 30, and now I am entering minus 5. Now you can see here, after entering the negative number, it will display entered number is negative number. So I need to enter one more time. Okay, now I am entering 4. So it reads the value. Now you can see here, it will find the sum of the number. The sum of number is 5, 55, 30 and 4. So the the sum is 94 and the average of this number is 23.50. Now you can see here, I am using break statement. So when you use the continue statement, it will skip the current iteration and the loop iterates. But in the break statement, now I am entering 5, 55, 66, then 1929. So now I am entering the number 1929. This number is greater than 999. This number is greater than 999. As soon as enter this number, it will terminate from the loop. So you can see here, after terminating this, you will find the sum of 55 and 66, that is two numbers, that is 121, and the average is 60.50. Okay. When in the continue statement, it will skip the current iteration and the loop will iterate, but when the break occurs, the loop will be terminate. Okay. That is a difference. In the break statement, it will terminate the entire loop. In the continue statement, it skips only the current iteration and it executes the remaining iterations. The next statement is the go to statement. So, the if statements, for loop statements are condition control statements. Conditions while, do while, loop, and if statement, switch statement, condition operator, all are the condition statement. Okay. Here the go to is unconditional branch statement, unconditional branch statement. So all the previous control statements are transfer the control based on the condition, based on the condition. If condition is satisfied, it transfer the control to one location. If condition is not satisfied, it transfer the control to other statement. Okay, that is conditional control statement. So C language is also supports one more statement, that is unconditional branch statement. Okay, unconditional branch statement. Okay, here in the go to statement, the control will be transferred from one location to other location without checking the condition. The control will be transferred from one location to other location without checking the condition. Okay, without checking the test expression, it transfers the control from one location to another location. So in jump statement, here label is required. Okay, in jump statement, label is required. Okay, to transfer the control. Where we need to transfer the control, we need to give the label to that location. So it transfer the control to the particular location by recognizing the label. By recognizing the label, it will transfer the control. Okay, here the control is transferred from forward to transfer the control forward and backward. Okay, we can transfer the control forward and backward. Okay, we can call the break go to statement from bottom to top or top to bottom. Okay, forward or backward. So if you transfer the control to the forward, that is a forward jump. If you transfer control back, then backward jump. So we can use the go to statement to transfer the control from one location to another location, either forward or backward. Okay, the general form of go to statement is okay, this the general form: label, statement, sequence of statements, then go to label. So here the statements proceed with go to, then go to is a valid variable name, then the label must be present before the statement need to execute. So what statement we need to execute? Before that the label must be present. So label name followed by colon, label name followed by colon. So here the statement, the execution start from this location. Immediately after the label. Though the statement, the control is transferred immediately after the label. So the statement will be execute. Okay, here go to label. Here the label statement, once the go to statement is called, it transfer the control to the label. It transfer the control to the label. Okay, this is backward jump. This is backward jump. Similarly, go to label. Okay, here the control is transferred from this location to this location. The control is transferred from this location to this location. So here the control is transferred towards down. Okay, that is forward jump. This is backward jump. Okay, there are two types of jump transfer. One is forward, other one is backward. So here the label must be a valid variable name. Label must followed by the colon. So the label must be specified where you need to execute the statement. So from what location or for which statement you need to execute. So the label must be a valid variable name. So the label must be present before the statement execute. So where you need to transfer the control, where you need to specify the, there you need to specify the label. So the label must be a valid variable name. The variable name must be a valid variable name. Then go to is a small letter word, then the label followed by semicolon. So once the go to statement occur, the control is transferred to the label. Okay, this is the backward jump. This is forward jump. So here control transferred to downward. Okay, this is a forward jump. Okay, but many of the programmers the C programmer developers suggest that avoid the use of go-to statement. So if you use more go-to statements in the program, it is very difficult to understand or it is very difficult to debug the program. So the best approach is to avoid the go-to statement. So we can use this go-to statement instead of break and continue to transfer the control. We can use the go-to statement instead of continue and break statement. But better approach is to avoid the use of go-to statement because it is unconditional transfer. So in the structured program, we avoid use of go-to statement. We avoid use of go-to statement.
Just we have discussed the go-to statement. Go-to is an unconditional branch statement. So the go-to statement is used to transfer the control from one location to other location without checking any condition. So this is an unconditional branch statement. So here there is a program. The program is transferring the control from one location to another location. So here I am using two go-to statements, go to even and go to odd. So here go to even, if condition satisfied, x modulus 2 is equal to 0, if condition is true, it executes one statement, the statement is go to even, the control is transferred to even, means it immediately transfer the control to line number 11. If in case if it is false, it calls the go to statement, here go to odd. So here transfer the control to go odd block. So this is forward jump. Okay, the control is transferred forward. Okay, now you see the output. Now if I enter the number 8, 8 is a even number. So here it transfer the control. You can see here 8 is the even number. If in case if I give 5, then it will skip the line number 8, line number 11 and line number 12. It directly transfer the control to line number 13. Okay, this is a simple program for the go to statement. So here I am using two labels. Label 1 is even and label 2 is odd. So even and odd. Here control is transferred from line number 8 to 11 and line number 10 to 13.